Camera rolling, slide up.
090606 10:15. Chapter 1, Intro. Should we follow God's will? Knowing God's will, Pastor Wilson Lim.
Camera set.
Let me know when I'm ready to run.
I'll call action. And action.
Okay, next one, please. When I entered university, I really wanted to be an engineer that would build great bridges and buildings, and my dream was really to see Chief Engineer Wilson Lim. Then I became a Christian, and I began to discover God's will. This revolutionized my entire thinking and changed the direction of my life. And now, instead of building great structures, I am building the greatest structure of all, God's church, God's house. You see, a bridge or a building, it may last a couple of centuries, but God's house is an eternal structure that will last for eternity. This is part of my journey in discovering God's will. And I hope that this will be yours as well as we journey through this topic of knowing God's will. Chapter 1. Should we follow God's will? You see, the question that arises many a time that we may ask ourselves is this: why should we? Well, let me give you a couple of reasons. Firstly, because of God's abundant will. You see, Jesus, He has promised us that we will experience the abundant life. In John chapter 10, verse 10, it says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." But many Christians do not seem to experience that. Why is that so? You see, abundant life happens as we develop in our relationship with God. As we get to know Him more, we discover His will and begin to be able to follow Him properly. You see, as my wife gets to know me more, she begins to understand what I really love to eat. And she begins to appreciate my taste. And so she is able to better meet my needs. She is able to cook the meals that I would like to have. Now imagine as well, if you were ill, you were very ill, and you went to see the doctor, and he prescribed you some medicine. Now a week has passed and you're still as sick as a dog. And will you blame the doctor? Especially if you did not take the medicine. You see, God cannot truly help us if we choose not to follow His good and perfect will, or if we choose to follow His will now and then. Imagine also if there was a drug addict and they declare they're going to kick the habit altogether, except for a couple of days each week. Is he going to get through it? As sinners, we are addicted to sin. To break free from it, we need to cling on to Christ and follow Him all the way, not just at some times alone. In fact, if we truly want God to help us, we have to go to Him with all of our life. Imagine if your car had some mechanical problems, and you went to the garage to get it repaired, and you brought in your steering wheel. Now the mechanic will look at you and say, "You're crazy. How am I going to repair your car if you only bring to me a part of your car?" Isn't that what we sometimes do to God? We bring only a part of our lives. We only allow Him to speak to a part of our lives. Abundant life has been promised. It is His will. It is God's will. But you see, you can only